I've never heard such a deafening silence. I never thought I would be so in vain. And the world can't revolve.
Doll today. As you can see, I've finished off her waist just
Oh, but it should.
today, and all I've managed to get done is just up to her neck, so we'll be working her neck and her head today.
Where you can't just give up hope. And I say, I'm here for you if you ever need to let go. Where you can't just give up hope. I've never won't let you falter on your own. And the world can't revolve around your pretty face. Oh, but it should. Yes, it should. You're in this fight alone. You think your heart is made of stone. You don't have to be a lone soldier. Won't let you falter on your own. And the world can't revolve around your pretty face. Oh, but it should. Yes, it should.
This way we're just having 12 stitches between each increase. This row was purely to even out the number of stitches I had, so it worked for the rounds above it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 stitches between each increase. This row was purely to even out the number of stitches I had, so it worked for the rounds above it. Got some sound coming from somewhere. I think it's my YouTube studio. Just 12. Yeah, it was just my YouTube studio, so that should have solved that issue. Right, so where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is an increased stitch here. One, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then another increase. Right, so that's just evened out the number of stitches. So we'll be able to have better increases going up over the body of the doll and then into the head. So now I'm going to do one more round before I attach the tail. So there's just 6 stitches between each increase here. Haven't streamed for a couple of days because I've had some appointments, but I am back to my normal schedule now. And my stitch is a bit tight, it's hard to get my hook in there, just have to wiggle it through. Morning. Hope everything's okay and you enjoy your working. make some notes because I'm amending one of my patterns to turn her into a tiefling. I just need to make sure I centralise her tail, otherwise she'll look a bit weird. A little bit awkward as I need to attach the tail through an increase, but I think I've managed it. And that should make her tail nicely centralised. Attach as much as I can as I go with crochet because I hate sewing bits together at the end, but because it's thick yarn it's actually quite a nice posable tail, so it should look pretty good later once we've got her fully made in some clothes and things. Just got an order for an Earth Genasi doll with crystals on her face, so I will be making that next week. Should get my tiefling finished over the weekend hopefully, and I have literally no idea how to crochet crystals on a face, so that'll be an interesting make, but I'm sure I'll come up with some sort of ideas. There we go. She's got little monster feet and a little tail attached. She's coming along nicely. Keep having to remind myself of my own pattern. keep moving so then you can't see me on the camera. Yeah, I have to watch what I'm doing fairly closely as well. Knitting, I can do without looking at my hands. I can do complicated patterns and all sorts without even looking at it. Crocheting, I have never quite grasped how to do it without staring at it constantly all the time. Ooh. I have no idea how people crochet without looking. I assume it's a touch thing. I can do it. I can knit by touch. I can feel where the stitches change. I just can't with crochet. Maybe it's a practice thing. I've only been crocheting for 6 or 7 years now, so maybe it's just a practice thing. And at some point it'll just kick in. It's like when I'm Netflixing. I have watched about 50% of everything that's on Netflix. I couldn't tell you what anybody looks like, but I know mostly what's happened in it. Yeah, I can do pretty much anything knitting without looking, but it's some of the more complicated things. I think I had a preemie sized baby cardigan that I made a few weeks ago, and I must have pulled the back out about 15 times because I just couldn't get this tiny little strip of lace at the bottom right. Did eventually, but it took me, must have been easy 5 or 6 attempts. So irritating. And with all the noise and stuff around, we've got 4 boys between us, so there's anywhere between Charlie and the 2 dogs and 4 boys and the 2 dogs around here, so I can count through anything. But I have to look at my crocheting. you doing today? Or afternoon, I don't know where you are. It's almost afternoon here. Afternoon. I'm great, thank you. Finally back in my routine and just working on a Tiefling doll that I am gonna get to keep for once. Tieflings are my favourite, so I decided Tiefling was a good place to start today. What game is it that you play? I play a Tiefling in every game that has Tiefling as an available race. I haven't got very far in Neverwinter, but I've got a few characters in Neverwinter. I have a Control Wizard Tiefling in Neverwinter. I play it with my son, so he's only 12. He doesn't have the biggest attention span, so we haven't got very far into it. PC. I tried to play it on the PS4, but I can't get the hang of the controls. I prefer my PC. See, I could never get a hang of the Xbox controller. I find them real chunky for my hands. But I've had PS4 since the PS1 days, PlayStation since the PS1 days. So I guess it's just what you get used to. We briefly owned a 360, but we just never used it. I use my PlayStation for things that my computer can't cope with. My PC is old. It's as old as my 12-year-old. Well, 6 months younger. And it struggles with a lot of things now, so I use my PS4 for I play like Dauntless and things on there that my PC just can't hold of. Are the new ones better? I've never ever played on an Xbox One. I just find the 360s were so chunky. They didn't fit my hands very well. Yeah, they can do. We've got we have a lot of consoles around here, and like the old retro ones I find a real struggle because they're real small and fiddly to hold on to, like the SNES controllers they were, and the old Sega controllers. They make my hands ache after too long. Most of the games we play around here we use PCs for, but I'm a big Guild Wars 2er. We've played WoW, but every so often I like to take a break from that, because when we're all playing it, 3 WoW subscriptions a month soon add up, so we're taking a break from that in a minute. Although my son didn't have the last expansion, we did, but my son didn't play in it about twice. Yeah, my husband's a big PC gamer, which is why we've all ended up with our own PC. But we bought old gaming PCs. Like my PC is like, it was top of the range when it was bought, but I only bought it about 3 years ago, and it's 12 years old now, so I got it for like 50 quid. And there are lots of things in it. There are lots of games that it can't cope with, but it can cope with the MMOs. So like we play a bit of Elder Scrolls, we play a bit of WoW on and off, usually when the new expansion comes out and they suck me back in. I play Guild Wars 2, but my husband's fallen out with love with that, so he won't play with me anymore. He's playing a lot of Warframe at the minute. WildStar, I quite like that. I'm a big MMO, and that's just my sort of game. It's what I like to play. I like to have a bit of story, but I like to be able to just go off and do my own thing if I don't feel like doing anything big. What I really want at the minute is the Medieval reboot for PS4. I wasted like 2 years as a teenager playing that game. It was awesome. Did it? Yeah, my husband seems to play over and over and over again on that. I've never been great for just doing the same thing repeatedly, and that seems to be what he does a lot of the time. So I haven't even tried that, to be honest. I don't know if my PC would even cope with it. My son's tried it on the PS4, but just didn't look like it was going to hold my attention for very long. Flood alert coming to it. We're on flood watch here, so I apologise if my internet's not amazing at the moment. It's struggling through the weather. We've actually got a bit of a break in the rain at the minute, so I'm hoping things are going to turn, but just have to wait and see, I suppose. Yeah, we're okay here. We're just on flood watch. We've got red flood alerts, like 10 miles to the west of us and 10 miles to the east of us. But we're just on watch here. We're just a little bit further away from the river, so we've only got a canal that comes up through us. So if the canal goes, then some of the parts of town are going to be a bit wet, but not going to be anything compared to the two cities that are right near us, who are currently half underwater. I'm glad my sound is sorted. It took me ages. Me and my husband were playing around with it for ages the other day, and I just couldn't seem to get my levels quite right, but hopefully it's sorted. It's sorted now. It took us ages though. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Right. There she is with her little monster feet up to her waist. Now I'm just going to work, most of it's worked in one piece. Go from the waist. Where is it you move to? Go from the waist to the neck, neck into the head, all in one piece. Then I'm going to work her horns before I do her arms at the end. Sometimes I think it'd be nice to move out of the UK, and then sometimes I think it's home. I don't know if I'd like it. Spain. I've only been to Spain once, only been to Barcelona. It was nice though. If I moved, I'm in Yorkshire at the minute, South Yorkshire. If I moved anywhere out of Yorkshire, I'd probably end up in Scotland. You know, further north, colder, wetter. But my grandpa was Scottish, and I spent like 4 months a year up there when we were little. He kept his dad's farm as a holiday place until I was 10 or 11, and we used to spend like 4 or 5 months a year up there. Every holiday we'd go. So it'd probably be up there. Don't think my husband would be quite so willing though. I did finally manage to get him up there last year. Went up there. We had our honeymoon up there in a castle in the middle of nowhere, so I did finally manage to get him into Scotland, but I don't think he'd want to move there. The internet was too bad. When I dress her and everything, like tack a tail up to the side a bit. But I don't know, we'll play around with that when it gets to time to dress. And quite often when I'm making dolls, I build the clothes into them, because then I haven't got to crochet it twice. But I thought it might be fun to make her so I could change her into different classes. Oh. I knit as well. I use knitting mostly for wearable things, and crochet mostly for toys and hats, just because crochet is quicker. So I knit good scarves. I suppose I do both knit and crochet, but usually like cardigans, jumpers, socks, anything like that is knitted. But for toys I always crochet them. does sound pretty cool. What colour is Warlock? I think of it as like a purpley colour, dark purpley colour. But I don't know, I like the sound of it though. I'm always a spellcaster. Always. I like to stand at the back and fling spells. That's my thing. But this is yarn kit, so it's mixed. I'm impressed. I like the sound of it. A cool name can go a long way though. I just made my son a hat and scarf set. Ready for the weather coming cold. Not that he wears it now that he's asked for it. I thought it would have yet purple in there somewhere. I think of Warlock as a purple colour. I don't know why. But yeah, he picked Atlantis. I mean, it turned out fine. I'm not one for it. It was a multi-yarn. It had one strand of like a aqua blue and one strand of a black in there. So it was nothing special, but it turned out quite pretty. Do you know, I don't think I have ever used Lion Brand yarn. I don't know if I've ever really seen it here in the UK, to be honest. All my stuff is made using Stylecraft Special, because I can get it in like 100 colours, and I haven't found a thing that I need to make yet that I can't get a colour in. Can't get that colour for. So everything I make is just a Stylecraft Special variation. I've never thought to look on Amazon for yarn. I used to use, we moved about 3 months ago, and I used to use a really good market stall back where I used to live, but she was retiring and starting to work out of just a storage unit where you could only go and pick up for like 1 day a week or something. And she did that as I was moving, and now I'm never back over that direction at the time she's open, so I've had to find somewhere else. I use a website called Wool Warehouse, or if it's a Stylecraft colour that I think I'll be able to grab locally, I just use Boys, which, I mean, it's about 15 miles away, but we've moved to a real small town where there isn't anything here. So I have to go 20 minutes in a direction to buy anything like that. They not have yarn shops. I love a good yarn shop. There's one in the I live outside Doncaster but near Doncaster, and there's apparently a good one in Doncaster, but I haven't been yet. I don't know Doncaster very well, and I have to, if I'm going somewhere, I have to know I can park pretty close by, because I can't walk very far, and I don't know where it is, so I need to go with my husband one day so that he can go find it for me if I can't park close enough to find it myself. One thing I did manage to find in Doncaster is an absolutely amazing computer game shop. I mean, it's right near Boys, but the Boys there is pretty rubbish. I use the one in the other direction. But I did find it amazing. It has a lot of retro stuff, which I think is fabulous. And hopefully my kids will come Christmas. I want to get them like a retro Game Boy or something each. I've seen like new versions of them where you've got a load of games built in, but I don't know how good they'll be. And I'm a bit picky. I want to have things that'll hold their attention. It's nearly Charlie's birthday actually. It's Charlie's birthday week on Sunday, so I need to go phone shopping tomorrow. We got him a contract for his birthday 2 years ago, and then what would it have been? 3 months after I took out this phone contract for him, and I sat at home working one afternoon, got a phone during the summer holidays, so it'd be about 6 months I suppose, off my son's phone, and this complete stranger that I'd never heard of, she'd just come across Charlie in a heap on the floor, and she thought he'd broke his leg to come off his bike, so obviously we rushed out to go several hours in A&E just to find it with a big bruise. Oh, I like pretty sock yarn, but I don't have the patience to make many pairs of socks, to be honest. They take so long. It's always real thin yarn, and I don't have the patience to sit there and do the same thing over. That's why I make dolls. Yeah, it was an interesting experience to say the least. But it turned out, sat in A&E for like 4 hours, and he bruised his leg, it bruised his knee. How he'd not managed to do more, I don't know, because when I got there, he'd like come off his bike and gone and landed on his knee on the curve, and he had a big dent in his knee. And we thought it was broken, but yeah, it was just a bruise in the end. But he'd managed to land on his brand new phone, so he's been using a smashed phone for, he's used a smashed phone for 3 months, and then my mum upgraded and gave him her old one, but his touch screen started dying about 3 months ago, so he's desperate for a new phone. So I need to go and upgrade him this week, but he's finally up for an upgrade, so I can go and upgrade him this weekend. Yeah, there are worse things that could have happened. If he'd have broken it in any other way, you'd have got a right flea in his ear. But I can't really get across that he broke his phone by almost breaking his leg, so, you know, these things happen. It's not the end of the world. I absolutely love handmade socks, but there's lots of people in my family who can knit and crochet. My sister crochets and she knits, but she does little things like hats, mug cozies, that sort of stuff. My grandma used to be a big knitter. She's who taught me to knit. But I mean, it's Caitlin. It's like 11 years since she died now. My mum can knit, bless her. But yeah, maybe it did. Broke his fall, that's for sure. It was a right wreck. Yeah, my mum can knit, and she came to me over the summer actually and asked me if I would finish a baby cardigan that she'd started, and I was like, oh yes, no problem, get all the bits, bring it round and I'll get it sorted for you. And it turned out on further questioning that she'd started making it for my sister when she was pregnant. My sister was 38 this month, so she'd started it 38 years ago and not managed to finish it. So at some point she'll present me with that and I will get it finished for her. But yeah, I thought that was impressive. 38 years in a cupboard. My grandma taught me to knit. I am self-taught on crochet. But I love to knit. I find it much more relaxing to knit than to crochet. But my brain seems to work in crochet patterns. I can look at a thing or a picture of a thing and just go, yeah, okay, I can make that, not a problem. I don't need a pattern. I can't do that with knitting. There's too much math involved, because I have to sit down and work out what pieces I need to put together to make it look like this, and I just find it too complicated. My brain works in crochet patterns, so that's what I do mostly. I've done knitting patterns. I've even published knitting patterns, but I have to know I'm going to have several weeks to be able to work on it and go through the math involved. I can't just wing it like I do on a crochet pattern. How did you teach yourself then? I picked up a 2-page flyer from a wool shop when I went in to buy some wool once, because I was getting frustrated that I couldn't make everything that I wanted to make. YouTube. I've worked from loads of YouTube tutorials. I find them quite frustrating though, because I constantly have to pause it every few seconds so that I can do what they're talking about and then move on to the next bit. So I find them a little bit frustrating. I like picture tutorials mostly, or just a book. I'm a bit of a oldie in that sense. I like a book. I still have my granny's knitting Bible, and it is referred to fairly regularly for any stitches I require. Crocheting, I don't know. I look up stitches when I need them, if I can't just figure out how I want something to look. I find it ever so relaxing. I learnt to crochet when I was 29. I'd knitted since I was 7, but I had like years when I didn't touch it, and then I picked it up again when I was pregnant when I was 22, and made my son all sorts of little pretty things. And then when I was 29, I ended up in and out of hospital for like a year because my asthma got really bad, and I wanted something to do while I was in hospital that I could cope with, but it was a little bit more portable than knitting, because I was forever dropping stitches and having to pull out and start again as people were moving things around. So I got my mum to take me to a wool shop and picked up a crochet hook, a ball of wool, and this pamphlet that would tell me how to do it. And I just haven't looked back really. It took me forever to learn like the chain stitch and the single crochet, and as soon as I got it, everything just seemed to click into place, and I can just do anything now. If somebody tells me they want something, I'm like, yeah, if you want it, I'll sort that out for you, no problem. Sometimes think it would be nice to have a more conventionally appealing, I suppose, artistic trait. I have a feeling it would, my Etsy shop would be a lot busier if I was alright with a paintbrush or whatever, but just work with what I've got, and that's a crochet hook and some knitting needles. So just gotta go with what you can do. Oh yeah, definitely. Lots more people are picking it up. I will literally work anywhere. I will take whatever I'm working on to whatever I'm doing. Sat at a hospital appointment with me for like an hour the other day while I put hair on a doll. And I mean, people stare at me and look at me like I'm a bit weird, but I don't get the comments like I used to when I did it when my son was little. And people would look at me like I was Lord knows what. So I don't get that anymore. Mostly people want to know what I'm doing, which I always think is quite nice. Some of them will come and ask what I'm doing. Some of them will just sit closely and talk rather loudly about what they think I might be doing. But I don't mind that so much. Then, particularly on Etsy and places, people love handmade stuff. They love the big chunky hats and the earwarmers and all that stuff, but they want to pay like Primark prices, and so I can't afford to do that, so my Etsy shop is quite quiet. I had a different Etsy shop. What is it that you're making, Rusty Dove? I had a different Etsy shop last year. It was doing the same thing, but a different name. And I ended up closing it down because I worked out that my best-selling item was making me £1.67 an hour. That I had to, after I'd bought my yarn and paid my Etsy fees and everything. And when I told my Instagrammers I was going to have to put my prices up because that wasn't going to be sustainable for me, I actually had people messaging to me telling me that I was already charging too much and they'd just boycott me if I put my prices up. So I ended up closing that shop down, and then spent a few months licking my wounds before I decided, well, you know, stick it. If they don't want to buy it, don't buy it. Somebody else might. So I've rebranded, reopened, and gone back to doing my thing. Yep. You know, if they don't want it, don't buy it. Mittens still. Cannot get my kids in mittens anymore. And I can't wear them because my stick, I'd just slide. So no mitten making for me this year. My best selling, it was a keyring. It was an elf keyring. Like a not like a Christmas elf, like a fantasy elf, I suppose. And it took me 4 hours from start to finish because it was a full character, 4 inches tall, made with a 2mm hook, and it took me hours. And I worked out I was getting £1.67 an hour for my time. I don't have another job. This is it. So they knocked me down briefly, and then I just thought, no, stick it. If that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm back doing pretty much the same thing at higher prices. And if people don't want to buy it, then they don't have to. I am doing this time, I'm making some crochet patterns to sell, to subsidise in the background between orders. So, you know, just gotta wait and see how things do. It's early days. I've only reopened like a month or so ago. 2 months, 3 months, 3 months ago. Time passes pretty fast. Okay, 5 stitches. I try and do something for like my nieces and everything. I make their gifts for my son / stepsons. If I can't make them something, I have to be pretty organised to make it works. I think we're up to 10 now between our four boys and the nieces, so it takes me a while. I have to be pretty organised to get something made for all of them for Christmas. So if I can't make something for my boys, I try and make sure I buy something handmade for each of them at Christmas. I just think it's nice to have a thing that somebody's either made or specifically gone out there and requested just for you as a little bit at Christmas. 2, 3, 4, 5. And my mum always gets a handmade gift, whether that's made by me or somebody else's. Depends what she wants, I suppose. Bought her a bracelet last year. Need to start having a good snoop around Etsy, see what I can find this year. My nieces this year are all getting they're getting themselves in yarn form, because I felt like a challenge and my sisters thought that was a brilliant idea. Obviously on a smaller scale. I don't have time to make 6 life-size dolls. Charlie's going to be a teenager. A week on Sunday. I've got a whole week and 2 days left before I am mum to a teenager, and I am just desperately hoping he doesn't do a Kevin from Harry Enfield, because he is already at that door slamming stage, and I'm just dreading that he might get worse. I don't remember being a bad teenager, but I'm sure if you ask my mum, I was awful. I was probably one of the best of my me and my sisters, best of the 3 of us. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready to be the mum of a teenager. It'll be the first as well, because Charlie's the oldest by 6 months. And then it'll be followed by Morgan in April. And I'm just not ready. I don't see myself as being old enough to have a teenager. almost up to her neck now. Work from feet to top of the head in one piece. Then the arms get added on later. And because she's a tiefling, she'll have horns, so I'll probably do... I don't know whether I'll do arms before horns or horns before arms. I'm going to do the horns in a different colour, so I suppose it depends how far I've got before the end of the stream today. To a neck, just need to stuff the top half of her body. takes a whole lot of stuff in these because I'd like to make them so they're not floppy and they don't move around much. If I stuff something to look like that, I want it to stay looking like that. Hey pretty girl, you got fluff on your head, Leia. There you go. Sorry, the dog just woke up, if you wondered what that was. There you go. There you go. Finish off when I do her, when I stuff her head later. I'll push it right down into the neck so that it doesn't move. Right, so we've just got 2 rounds for the neck before we start increasing for the head again. I'll let you outside in a minute, Leia, just give me a minute. Right, I'm just going to do this neck and then I'm just going to have to nip and let the dogs out for a minute. Yes, Leia, I've said in a minute. Stop growling at me, Leia, I said in a minute. If you can hear her whining in the background, she just wants to go outside. There's nothing actually wrong with her, she's just whinging. Yeah, in a minute, Leia. Yeah, I'm just going to do this bit and then I'll let you out, and I can also grab the colour for the horns and stuff on them up actually. So just do this 12 stitches and then I'll let you outside. Leia, want to go outside? Right, I'm just going to take 5 minutes to go and let the dogs out and grab a drink and the bits that I need to make the horns. I will be back in a minute to make the head and the eyes and the horns and stuff, but I will be back. Yours just looks at you to the wish mine did. I've got the boy paws at me constantly till he gets his own way, and the girl just sits in front of me and whines until she gets her own way. Yes, I'm coming now. Right, I'm just going to take 5 minutes and I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that. Just had to let the dogs out, and I grabbed just a cup of tea while I was waiting for him to come back in. So I was just waiting for the kettle to boil. So just going to work on her head now. Where did I hide my crochet hook? There it is. And I've collected things that I need for eyes, which I will be doing before I finish her head. Your dog's cat howls. That's kind of cool and irritating all in the same thing. Now, mine, Luke here, is the one that is usually sat on you in some way. Or on me anyway, he's my dog. Leia generally looks at you from across the room with disdain, but will whinge until she gets her own way. It's Luke, you can see with his big fat self in the edge of screen there. Yes, talking about Luke. Oh, sorry Luke, bashed you in the face. You were a little bit close there, weren't you? Leia hates everybody, and she will sit there and judge everybody from her corner of the room and deem whether or not she deems you worthy of her time and attention. Luke loves everybody and is everybody's best friend, and is currently licking me. Don't lick me. Just sit nicely. Good boy. No. Neither of them listen to me. They listen to my husband. I'm just the moron who gets some nice things to eat. Right, so this is the start of the head, so we're just going to increase into every stitch around here. Oh look, I've managed to move again so you can't really see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can sort that out. And it sounds like Pretzel might have crashed. Look. Well, you definitely can't see what I'm doing, you can just see Luke. There we go. It's a bit better. Looks like Pretzel might have crashed again, so there's no sound at the moment. Got a second ball of yarn here. See what's wrong with this. Ready to finish the head off, but Luke's just run around the living room with it while I was making a cup of tea, so it's in a bit of now. So I just need to detangle the ends in a minute. Oh. Don't know whether it's my computer or my internet that's just having a moment, but I will get it sorted as soon as I can. Everything seems to have paused. I think it might be coming back now. Oh. Sitting in this corner where I have to sit to stream, it's like a Russian roulette of how many times I can drop my Naga before I actually break it. So far it's quite a lot. No, Luke. You made a right mess of this, Luke. There's one end. There's the other end. I think Pretzel's crashed again, but unfortunately it's taken half of my computer with it, so I'm just going to have to give it a minute to catch up. Just going to magic knot these two ends of the yarn together. Yeah, my Pretzel Rocks has crashed and it's taken everything that's currently running over on my second screen with it. So, just trying to get everything caught back up. No, Luke. You've been outside, you can stay inside now. At least I would if anything would come back to life. If it doesn't, I might have to end the stream here and try and figure out what's wrong with it. Luke, go away. Hoping it'll come back to life though. I'm just going to have to stop this stream for now, and I will try and get back on once my computer's woken up. If I don't manage to get back on, thank you for watching, and I'll be back on Monday, but I'm hoping I should only be gone for a few minutes. No, Luke, go away. Mummy's computer's died, I don't know what's wrong.